Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. Yes, it has been a while. I haven't recorded any TFT games in about a month and a half. That's because I saw set 14 and I really had no interest in playing set 14, and I've seen nothing since then that's caused me to have any interest in playing set 14. However, set 10 is back. Yeah, this is set 10 come back again. Set 10 is probably the single best set in TFT history. It's arguable, but I think it's probably the best set that they've ever done. I think everybody was pretty surprised that that the developers brought back set 10 so quickly. All the other set revivals have been much, much older sets. They brought back set 3, set 5, and set 4, and they brought back set 10 only basically like a year after it went away for the first time. So that's maybe not the greatest sign for how TFT is doing in like the wider picture of things, that they felt the need to bring back set 10 so quickly. And it's probably not a good sign for the viability of set 14 either. But in the short term, it does mean that we get set 10 to play again. So this is the very first game that I played, and I did play an awful lot of set 10 when it was out because it was a really, really good set. And I'm hoping I'll get a chance to play a decent amount of set 10 here in the revival version. All right, now a couple basic things to keep in mind about set 10. This is the music-based set. One of the cool features is that the music changes depending on which team composition you're playing. So you will get kind of a different background experience whenever you're playing. And the music's really quite good. I've enjoyed it quite a lot when I was playing. I don't know if it's going to be that you're going to be able to hear it on this recording because I'm going to be talking commentary on top of it, but it is one of the neater things that happened as part of this set. The main featured mechanic in this set is headliners. This is basically the chosen trait from set 4 brought back again, but in a form known as headliners where there are some minor differences. We also get our first augment here, and I have an easy choice here. I can take Slam and gain one random component after each player combat if there are no items on your bench other than consumables, gain 2 XP. Well, this is a very overpowered augment to get here in the revival mode, and the reason for that is that we get a golden item remover, and what that means is we can pop items off an infinite number of times. So there's really no downside to slamming. I can just, if I want to, I can just put components on like every single one of my units and I can pop them off at any time. So as long as I don't have any components on my bench, I get 2 extra XP every round. So it's basically like getting 2 free gold every single round. I guess it's not quite as good as getting 2 free gold every single round, because gold could then be put towards accelerating economy and getting to income breakpoints faster. But it's still quite good. And it's much better than slamming in a normal game where you have a limited number of item removers or no item removers. In this game mode, I mean, you might as well take this every time because it's just free XP unless there's something else you really want to play. So anyway, I was very happy with that. For my headliner, I have found a Sentinel Cassante, and this is going to allow me to play 4 Sentinels here in the early game, which normally would be very difficult to do. So a little bit more about the headliner mechanic for those who maybe didn't see this set the first time or just are new to TFT or just curious what this whole mechanic is. Basically, the headliner mechanic is you get the chance to play one special unit on your team, known as the headliner. By the way, one of the people I play with is Headwinder, and so I always get that name confused. But anyway, the headliner is a special unit. You can only ever have one headliner on your team at a time. They come in the shop as a 2-star unit, so you don't have to find 3 copies of them. They just come as a 2-star unit immediately. They also get some bonus stats there. It depends on the unit type, but like tanks generally get additional health or additional resistances. AP units generally have like either lower mana costs or they do more damage on their abilities. And similarly, AD units generally have additional attack damage, or their abilities do slightly more damage. So they're stronger than the normal units. They come as 2-star units immediately. And on top of that, one of their traits is doubled. That is, you get 2 ranks of the trait for playing 1 unit. And the one I have found is, as I said, a Sentinel version of Cassante. So I get 2 Sentinel for playing this unit. Generally speaking, the early game headliners, I found that the tank ones generally perform a bit better than the carry ones, and that often is reversed in the late game. where the carry ones tend to be a little bit better. But it's all situational. Now, this is a great mechanic. It is basically the Chosen mechanic come back from set 4. I strongly feel that this is the best mechanic that the developers have ever had. Obviously, they can't do the same mechanic for every single set, but I've always felt that this is a really, really, really strong mechanic. And it does a whole bunch of things that are really good for the gameplay in TFT. The first one is it promotes flexibility. You're going to get different headliners in every game. I mean, to some extent, if you really want to, you can try forcing the headliners, but it's hard to do that because you don't know what you're going to get in the shop. So you're just not likely to get the same ones game after game unless you really force it, and that's generally not a good idea, trying to force specific headliners. You do better by kind of rolling with what you get and building your team around what you're seeing in the shop. So that's one of the biggest things. First of all, is it promotes replayability. Games are like game after game is going to be different because you're going to be seeing different headliners in the shop every time. It also promotes flexibility. It's much harder to sit there with just like a pre-made team composition in, I don't know, on like some website or something. It's much harder to do that because, like I said, you can't guarantee what headliner you're going to get, and you can't know what trait is going to be doubled. Even if you're playing the same team composition, like let's say I want to play a KDA team composition. This typically plays through Ari or Akali, or typically the main carries. You don't know which headliner you're going to get. So for example, Ari's 2 traits are KDA and Spellweaver. You might get a KDA Ari, or you might get a Spellweaver Ari, and that's assuming that you even find an Ari headliner, which you might not. The team that you build is going to be slightly different if you have a KDA Ari versus a Spellweaver Ari. Like, it's just going to change depending on what you happen to find. So again, it's just great for promoting flexibility. Really, really, really strong for causing you to build different team compositions, as opposed to just memorizing something on like a cheat sheet and playing the exact same thing in every single game. And the last thing it does is it really promotes flexibility, because it's much easier to pivot between different team compositions, because you can get a 2-star unit instantly of the headliner that you might happen to find. So there are many, many, many times where I was anticipating playing something, but then I find another headliner in the shop, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I wasn't planning on playing this, but you know what? Let's roll with this. This is a 2-star unit. I can build my team around this. Let's just go in a different direction. And it's much easier to do that in this set with the headliner mechanic, or in set 4 where you had the Chosen mechanic, than it was in most of the other sets. So it just does many, many, many good things for TFT's gameplay. And I just always find myself enjoying these sets. I think these are my favorite sets, although I did really like set 6 as well. Now, for example, in this set, I have gone ahead and found an early Zac, so I just played the Zac even though he didn't fit my board. I actually realized in retrospect I probably should have held on to that unit, because that unit then could have been played with the set. Now, what I was trying to do from the start of the game, the very first minion round, I had a set drop, and then in addition to that, I found a Cassante headliner, so that got me 2 out of 3 on Heartsteel from the very beginning of the game. And so I was trying to find a way to get Heartsteel in. Heartsteel is the economic trait here in set 10. So I was trying to get Heartsteel in. I really was trying to find an early Aphelios so I could get Heartsteel in. But that did not happen up until this round. And then lo and behold, I actually forgot to put the set in, so I still do not have Heartsteel trait in. Whoops. That was a bit of a mistake. I mean, I don't regret the board I had in. 4 Sentinel, 2 Rapid Fire, 2 damage is actually a pretty solid board for stage 2, but I could have had Heartsteel in, and I didn't get Heartsteel in. Still, I did manage to win every single round here on stage 2, so that's a good opener. I've already got some good pieces here. I already know more or less the direction I'm going to go in. I'm planning on building one of these Heartsteel-based team compositions that plays into Ezreal as like the featured carry, Ezreal plus Misfortune, and then you try to go into like Lucian and Caitlyn in the late game. So you have 2 Big Shot plus 2 Rapid Fire, and then your front line is generally 2 Guardian, 2 Bruiser. You're playing set for front line, or you can also play 2 Bruiser plus 2 Sentinel. That is a little bit weaker. Anyway, lots and lots of options. One of the great things about this set, it is a very, very flexible set. So you see me pick up the Tahm Kench. That's when I belatedly realized, oh, I really should have held on to that Zac, because I'm going to want to play Bruiser front line. I'm going to need to move out of the 4 Sentinel, drop down to 2 Sentinel, put in some Bruisers here, because I need to get set on the board. And if I'm going to play set, I want to play Bruiser trait. So that was a bit of a griefer there. unfortunately, but it is what it is. I also know that this lobby is going to have, this lobby is going to be a high econ lobby because, like, look at this. See all the gold that just dropped right there? We have gotten an encounter that is very heavy on gold. It was the Ezreal encounter, and this one's basically like the Loot Fiesta setup. So everybody's going to get like more loot than they normally would. By the way, you also see me reconfiguring my setup here. I want to get the Heartsteel in, so I'm going to put the Cassante on the, I'm going to put the set on the board and also the Tom Kench on the board. I'm also going to put the rod on MF. I'm going to reforge the other rod. And okay, the tier is not what I wanted. Just have to slap that on someone. Remember, I have to slam my items for my initial augment, the slamming. But I did not get what I wanted there. I was hoping for a bow or a tank item. I didn't really get either of those, but the tier is fine. I can use it to make a blue buff on Ezreal later or a Shojin, something like that. But we'll basically figure it out. Anyways, I said, though, we have the initial encounter that gives everybody just extra loot throughout the game. I know that means it's going to be a high loot lobby. So in order to win the lobby, I'm going to have to be looking for a high cap board, something that caps out like level 9 with like a lot of 4 and 5 cost units. And that's what I'm going to be looking to go for in this game. Now, first augment was gold. Second augment here is silver. I don't really see anything I want here all that badly. I'm looking through here. Glass cannon I was probably going to go for, but I decided I would at least look at the other options. And I see branching out, gain a random emblem and a reforger. So I was like, oh, you know, the odds are pretty good I can get something decent here. And I have a reforger and I actually get another reforger. So I have like the initial chance to roll something good, and then a reforger to try again, and then another reforger to try a second time. So the odds are pretty good I can get something good. And it turns out that I get a big shot emblem. And I was like, oh, big shot emblem. Okay. I can make do with that. So as soon as I see the big shot emblem, I immediately am hoping, okay, maybe I can look to get an Ezreal headliner that's a big shot headliner. Ideally, what I would do there is I'd find a big shot headliner Ezreal. That would get me 2 ranks of big shot. I'd play that with the Misfortune for 3 big shot, and I then would have the emblem that I could put on Caitlyn for 4 big shot. Or if I can't find that, I could play Ezreal plus MF plus Jhin, and then put the big shot emblem on a future Caitlyn, and that would get me 4 big shot. Either way, I can make this work. There's no need to reforge this. This will be great. So I'm pretty content with that. Now, I found the early Ezreal. I found the Ezreal at, 5% odds on level 6. That was pretty lucky. So I'm going to move into the Ezreal. I actually need to move my items from Misfortune over to Ezreal. And I also found a Yone in my shop as well. So that actually gets me up to 5 Heartsteel, and that's without a Heartsteel headliner. Heartsteel, as I said, is the economic trait here in set 10. The way that it works is you gain stacking hearts, which are over there on the left side of the screen. It's where I have a little box that says 19 out of 20. And you gain hearts for 2 things. You gain them for killing enemy units, or you get them for losing rounds. So you can play this as like the classic Fortune econ trait, lose every round over and over and over again, and then get some big cash out. And that's how oftentimes people play Heartsteel. But you know, you don't have to play it as a loss streaking trait. And that's one of the things I really like about Heartsteel trait in this set is you don't have to play it as a loss streaking trait. You also get hearts for killing enemy units. Now, you don't get as many hearts, you get more from losing a whole bunch of rounds in a row, but you do get some hearts for killing enemy units. With Heartsteel 5, I get 2 hearts per enemy unit killed. So the other team had 6 units. I killed all of them. So, oh, and they had a targeting dummy, so I got another kill there. So I killed 7 of them. That got me 14 hearts. Every 4 rounds, you'll get a Heartsteel cash out, and the more stacks you have, the bigger the cash out rewards are. There is also a way to delay the cash out, but that by picking something called Raise the Stakes. But in order to do that, you have to kind of lose. I believe you have to lose every single round. If you win a round after raising the stakes, you lose half of your Heartsteel stacks. So you kind of have to play that as a loss streaking trait, and that is not the way I typically like playing Heartsteel. So anyway, I'm just kind of cruising here. I'm going to try to get to level 8 as quickly as possible, and then I'm going to move into a different headliner. By the way, that's quite nice there to find the 2-star set, so I will just move my tank items over to the 2-star set. And that's because Set as a 2-star unit is a better tank than Cassante, even though Cassante has the headliner bonus. Still a better unit. And in addition to that, Gargoyle's Stoneplate is a better item on a Bruiser. Bruisers get additional health. Gargoyle's Stoneplate gives them more armor and magic resistance. Then it is a good item on Cassante. Cassante is a Sentinel. Sentinel units already get armor and magic resistance, so giving them even more armor and magic resistance It's not quite as effective as putting it on a bruiser who gets additional health. Long story short, it's better to put this the tank item on the 3-cost unit as opposed to the 1-cost unit, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going to get my next Heartsteel cash out after this round. If I can get over the 40 stack amounts, then I believe I get a roughly 8 gold cash out. I'm clearly not going to get to the 60 stack cash out. But the good news is I'm still winning these rounds. All right, Ezreal, that ult was not thrown in the best spot, but it looks like I'm still going to win this round anyway. And I'm still just kind of cruising here. I'm on a 9-match winning streak. I still got a whole bunch of 1-star units, but haven't really been punished that much. So anyway, we'll take the cash out here, get our 2-star Tom Kench, and it looks like I got a Lulu and an Amumu. So what, it gave me 6 gold worth of value? Okay, that wasn't amazing, but 6 gold is 6 gold. I'm going to go ahead and go to level 8 right here. So I'm level 8 on 3-6, and I still have 29 gold in the bank. And I'm going to level and put in Corki, because Corki gets me up to 4 big shot. And I'm going to keep moving these items around. I'm going to put the tier on Ezreal, the rod. I still don't really have a use for this rod. I just stuff it on Aphelios. Remember, it has to be on somebody for slamming value. But now I have 4 big shot, 5 Heartsteel, 2 bruiser, and then I still have the 2 sentinel. Gives Cassante armor and magic resistance. Also gives the whole team some armor and magic resistance, although not a lot. I think everybody gets about 10 armor and MR, and then I believe that's tripled on sentinel units, something like that. But yeah, I mean, we're just cruising. We very, very, very easily win this round. And this is my first game of the set revival, so whatever matchmaking exists obviously hasn't kicked in yet. And these enemy boards have not been especially intimidating thus far. So what I want to do now is I want to move out of the Cassante headliner. Again, you can't play another headliner as long as you have a headliner on the board. The requirement is that you will see a headliner in every shop. If you don't have a headliner, if you do have a headliner, you see one every 4 shops. So I'm going to be looking to reroll, and I'm going to be looking to play another headliner here. Ideally, I would find like an Ezreal headliner, but some other things can work. I'm looking for a 4-cost headliner. I can't find 4-cost headliners until I'm level 8, if I remember correctly. I can't find 5-cost headliners now. You have to be level 9 to find them. All right, so let's see what we can find. I'm going to roll a bit of gold here and try to start moving towards my board. I am going to make the Spear of Shojin on Ez. All right, there's a Kate. I don't want a Samira. Also, there's another Yone. So let's look there. Dazzler TF, no, not for this game. EDMZ, not for this game. Maybe the Blitz, possibly. And then I see a Kiana here, so I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'd like to play that. I'd also like to play the Zac. I'm trying to get the Zac on the board here. The problem is I'm out of bench space right now. I need to make room for some of these units. I'm trying to get the Zac on the board, but I just run out of time. So I got caught transitioning here, which is not unusual. There's a lot going on in situations like this, and I just did not manage to get all of those, did not manage to get my board together yet. So I'm expecting that I'm probably going to lose this round because I didn't have a chance to finish transitioning my board. And that's a little sad because I think if I had been just a little bit faster, even if I had gotten the Zac on the board, I might have won this round, even with the Zac on the board, instead of 2 MFs accidentally going on the board. But yeah, I still didn't find any of the headliners I wanted. I didn't have a headliner in. I was halfway through transitioning. A bit of a shame to lose that round because I was on a 10-match winning streak. But there is a plus side. I did get more Heartsteel stacks for it. So it's not the worst thing. I do get some extra Heartsteel stacks. Although I only had 4 Heartsteel and not 5 that round. So that's unfortunate. Now it's time for our last augment. It is Prismatic. I never love seeing that. Out of these options, I probably was leaning towards Blazing Soul, but you always want to look for the different options. And I see Coronation, gain a Tactician's Crown, and I'm content to take that. That's just going to let me play another unit, and that's good for me because I'm planning to go to level 9 and just like play the kitchen soup of like 4 and 5 cost units. So just getting to play more of them is going to be pretty strong here. Now I can play another unit on the board, and I'm trying to figure out what that's going to be. And I want to get this Thresh on the board. And then I see an Alawi, so that's great. We'll just move out of the Zac and play Alawi. And then there's a Rapid Fire Kate headliner here. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. We can play this. We can play this. It's not quite the right fit that I want because you notice it does take me up to 3 Rapid Fire. But on the plus side, that means that I can now cut Aphelios. I don't need to run Aphelios on my board. I can just take him off the board and drop down to 3 Heartsteel. So I won't be getting as many Heartsteel stacks, but that's fine. I don't really need a lot of Heartsteel stacks. I've already gotten a decent amount of value from Heartsteel here. But I can just cut him from the board, and then I can look to play the Kiana, who is another 5 cost, and that'll give me Crowd Diver trait along with the Yone that I'm running, who I need Yone on the board for Heartsteel value anyway. So yeah, this looks pretty good. And now I'm already playing 9 units on my board. despite only being level 8, and now we can look to just try to get to level 9 is the plan. I also have a decent chance to try to get to... all right, now I've got to reposition the Alawi tentacles. Do I remember to make the swap here? I think that I do. All right, yeah, there we go. So we'll remove the Aphelios, and there we go. Now we've got 3 big shot. So I need to get to a higher level and play another big shot unit. So I need to get to level 9 and then put in, ideally, another big... Like, any big shot would be good. But ideally would be either Jin or I could also look to play Corki. Corki would actually give me 8-bit and Jazz trait, or not that, 8-bit and the 4 big shot. So I want to get to level 9 now and play another big shot unit. The big shot units do additional damage for several seconds after they use their ability. And 4 big shots are a pretty big jump over 2 big shot. I don't have the cheat sheet in front of me at the moment, but I know that it is a relatively big jump. I also moved some items around. Again, with the golden item remover, you can constantly be moving items around all over the place. I moved the Spear of Shojin and the Infinity Edge to Kate. That's going to have some nice... She's going to ult a lot more with the Shojin, and with the Infinity Edge, her ult can crit, and that together with the Big Shot trait means that she's going to do an awful lot of ability damage when she uses her ability. I'm keeping the Last Whisper on Ezreal because he applies the Armor Shred really well. When he gets his 3rd cast off, he shoots his ultimate from normal League of Legends, and it hits a good portion of the board. So he's very good at armor shredding. I'd also love to get him a red buff so he could start burning the enemy team. One of the biggest flaws of my setup right now is I do not have a heal cut. I don't have like a red buff or a what's it called? Like a Sunfire Cape. I don't know why it took me long to think of that. But I do have half of it now. I've got the Last Whisper, and then this gives me half of a red buff. And then I also would love to get like a blue buff on ads. Anyway, I'm going to take the cash out option. And what do I get for it? Oh, I get a tier. Okay. That's not bad. That could be half of a blue buff for Ezreal. So let's go ahead. Got to use these items so that I get the slam in value. So put this on somebody. And I need to put that tier on somebody. Do I remember to put the tier on somebody? I've got to put that on somebody here. Oh, okay. I went ahead and made the Crown Guard and the tier. Now we'll go ahead and move this. Because I made 2-star Thresh, I'm going to move some of my tank items over to the Thresh. Okay, and I could also sell that. One of the things I mentioned before, didn't really get a chance to finish talking about it. And okay, yes, I did manage to put the tier on somebody, so I'll get the slam and XP value. I did mention I am on 5 Kate, so I have pretty good odds to hit 3-star Caitlyn from this point. I only need to find 4 more of them. And there are more copies of the 4 and 5 cost units in this set than set revival than there are in the main game. In fact, there's more copies of everything here in the set revival than in the main game. Many of you probably know this already, but in Teamfight Tactics, typically everybody is pulling from the same bag of champions, for lack of a better word. Everybody's like pulling from the same champs. And here in the set revival, there's more of them. Normally, there are only... normally there's only, for example, 18 copies of the 3 costs. So like normally Misfortune, there's only 18 Misfortunes in the game. But here in the set revival, there's actually 30 of them in the game. And well, I'm definitely moving some items around here, aren't I? Gonna put the Tactician's Crown, the Last Whisper, okay, and the bow. Okay, I see. Because Miss MF was a 2-star unit, I moved my items over there. But yeah, there's 50 copies of each of the 1-cost units, 40 of the 2-cost units, 30 of the 3-cost units, and then 12 of the 4-cost and 10 of the 5-cost. That's more than in the normal live game. So it's easier to 3-star units in this game mode. And what that means is just it's easier for me to hit 3-star Kate because I only need to find 9 out of 12 Caitlyn's in the pool. Normally, I'd have to find 9 out of 10 Caitlyn's. In the normal game, there's only 10 copies of the 4-costs. But here in the set revival, there's 12 copies of the 4-cost. So I have to find 9 out of 12 instead of 9 out of 10. So that's just inherently easier to do. Anyway, so my plan was, let's go level 9. We're going to put in another big shot unit so we can get 4 big shot in. And then we'll slow roll on level 9. And we'll just try to find 4 more Kates. Because if I can find 1 more Kate, that's like an insta win the lobby condition. I have tons of health. I have 90 health. I've got tons of econ. I'm already sitting here at, was it 50 gold, level 8. I can easily go level 9 at the beginning of the next stage, and we'll just slow roll for Kate 3-star and see what happens, and hopefully I can get there. If I have bad luck finding Kate, we can always pivot out of that and go for some other strategy. And look at all this gold I get. I was like, oh my god, look at all this money. Oh my god. Again, I mentioned this was a lobby that was going to be a high loot lobby. That means we need to have a stronger board than normal. We need to cap out at a higher amount. Let's also pull our artifact anvil to see what we get here. There's only one of these that's any good for me, and that's the rapid fire cannon. I don't like Prowler's Claw and Death's Defiance. Those are for melee carries that I don't really have any of them. Yone's just in there as a trait bot. So none of those are really going to work out for me. All right, here I have the chance to pull a tier. I will happily pull that tier. Boom. Now I have blue buff for Ezreal. Very, very nice. And out of this, I'll make another Gargoyle Stone Plate. I don't really want double Gargoyle Stone Plates, but there wasn't really much I could do. That's kind of what I had, and yeah, it's just kind of what I ended up with there. I guess I could have reforged something, but it's decent enough. I still have the 2 reforges. Maybe if I get like a random emblem or something, I do have the reforgers in my back pocket in case I need to use them on something like that. I also might, I still might get more Heartsteel cash outs. You can get item components for Heartsteel cash outs. I do still have Heartsteel in, it's just Heartsteel 3, but there's enough enemy units on the boards that I am killing like 8 or so units. Heartsteel 3, you only get 1 stack per kill though, so I'm not getting a lot of stacks per kill, but even if I just get the 20 stack cash out, that still gives you, I think, like 4 or 5 gold worth of value. It's not terrible. You still get something out of it. All right, let's go to level 9 here. I'm going to level, and then I will put in the Kaisa for Big Shot. I can definitely do better than Kaisa, though, so I'm going to have to look to see what I can find. All right, I find another Kate. That's 6 Kates. I only need 3 more. All right, there's another Ez. There's another Kiana. That works. And I'll roll. I think I rolled a... Did I roll more? No, I guess I stopped here. I still only have 1-star Ezreal. And I'm on 2 out of 3. Yone's 2 out of 3 of the Nikos, although I'm hoping to replace Nico with the what's her name? With Yorick. Not even a her. I'm hoping to replace the Nico with Yorick because Yorick is the 5-cost Guardian and would also give me Masher trait together with the set. Now this board is super clumped. This is a disco board. It's the weakness of disco boards is they always have to clump up together. It's actually a reasonably strong board, but they're very clumped. I just wish that I had a red buff or something for a heal cut because one other thing about disco boards is they do get a lot of innate healing from the disco ball. And again, I do not have a heal cut. So Ezreal does a nice job of a play. Actually, Ezreal really needs that Last Whisper. I should move the Last Whisper back to him because MF is not really armor shredding very well at all. MF is single target damage. She doesn't really use Last Whisper. Last Whisper is not bad because she spends a lot of time shooting tanks, but it's not her best not her best item by any means. All right, there's the Yorick. So now we can make that replacement. And what's my cash out? Okay, well, it gave me some additional 3-cost units. So that wasn't particularly useful. Now we're still going to keep rolling here. All right. I guess I could have gone for set 3-star. I've been seeing a lot of sets here, but I was trying to save my money. And then this is the God shop here. I get a Jhin who I'll play over the Kaisa and a Lucian. I definitely need to get Lucian on the board here somehow. So Lucian would give me another rank of Jazz, but I don't know if I can play him until I get to level 10. Well, I can probably play him over something. It's got to be some way I can play this Lucian on the board here. All right, so I have the 4 Big Shot, the 3 Heartsteel, 2 Bruiser, 2 Crowd Diver, 2 Guardian, 2 Masher, 2 Rapid Fire. Probably can't play him until level 10, now that I look at it. I would have to give up too much in order to play. I'd have to drop out of the 4 Big Shot, and I don't want to do that because I've got the Big Shot emblem. All right, anyway, this is a close fight. I think we win this if Ezreal tosses his ult at the Hecarim, but unfortunately he does not. And that person is actually playing Country 7. By the way, did I grab the Lucian here? Oh, I didn't grab the Lucian. Okay. But now look at this. We get a crazy carousel. We get the Tactician's Crown carousel. Yeah. Every single one of these is a Tactician's Crown. So this is going to allow every single person to play another unit. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, should have grabbed that Lucian. Should have grabbed that Lucian. I could have just slotted him right on the board. But I do think he'll come back sooner or later. So out of these options, I really want that Jhin. But somebody else snaps up the Jhin because that would actually get me to 2 out of 3 Jhins. This is actually even better than normal because my Prismatic Augment that gave me a Tactician's Crown earlier. Oh, anyway, look, Lucian came right back again. Thank you. Thank you, Lucian, for coming back again. But anyway, that Augment is better than normal here because it actually causes the holder of the Tactician's Crown or the Tactician's Cape. What is it? I have 1 crown, 1 cape. And there's another Kate. That's 7 Caitlins. They actually get bonus stats. I think they get like 30% AD and AP. And by the way, there's 2-star Yorick, who's like, okay. All right. So I guess we'll just transfer some of these items. I'm going to split up the Gargoyle Stone Plates because I'd rather not stack both of them on the same unit. But we'll put 1 on Thresh and we'll put 1 on Yorick. And now I have 2-star, I have a 2-star 4-cost Guardian and a 2-star 5-cost Guardian up there on the front lines. They're going to tank reasonably well. Now, if I could just find 1 more Ezreal, I'm still on 2 out of 3 Ezreals here. But yeah, my board is looking pretty strong right now. Again, the only thing I'm missing is I still need a heal cut, but I have not seen an opportunity to get one. It just hasn't been like a Sunfire or something like that on one of these carousels. So anyway, the other board that is win streaking is this one, the KDA board. It's got an Ari, and they actually have the same thing. They took the same augment I took that gave them the Tactician's Crown for their Prismatic, and they got the other +1 as well. So the two of us together both have +2 team size. I have 11 units on my board. And again, now I'm going to try to get back up to the 50 gold mark. I did spend down a little bit under the 50 gold, but I think it was justified because I had a fair number of pairs, a bunch of 5-cost pairs. But now I want to get back up to the 50 gold and just try to find 2 more Caitlins. I only need 2 more Kates here. And I've looked around the lobby. No one else is playing Kate, so she's uncontested. Just need 2 more of the Caitlins. And I also was able to put Jazz Trait in with the Lucian. Jazz Trait gives you additional stats based on how many traits you're playing. The more traits you play, the more stats you get. It gives the entire team additional health and the entire team damage amp. And you get more based on how many traits you're playing. So anyway, this is looking pretty nice. I'm also getting the Jin turrets here. And I need to clear out a little extra bench space for the Jin turrets as well. Jin puts down turrets on your bench that fire at the enemy team. And Jin is usually like kind of a joke unit. He's usually like not that strong of a unit. People typically play more Misfortune and Ezreal than they do Jin. But if you can actually 2-star Jin and itemize him, which is hard to do, he's a 5-cost unit. You usually can't 2-star him and itemize him. But if you can, he actually does start becoming really strong. So I'm hoping maybe I can get that unit in as well. Now, there is one other option that I could potentially look to take here. If I didn't want to go for the 3-star Kate, I could also sell the Caitlyn and then look to find another headliner, because I have a 2-star Caitlyn on my bench. I could sell the 2-star Kate headliner, just play the 2-star Kate, and then try to find another headliner. In particular, if I went to level 10, I could try to find a 5-cost headliner, which you realistically can only find at level 10. Now, you can get them on level 9, but it's like 2% odds or something. 1 or 2% odds, so you basically never see them. So that would also be an option here, but I wanted to try to get the 3-star Kate, so I was trying to go for that, because I did have 7 of them. I thought I had pretty good odds to try to see the Kate, and it looks like we're going to have enough rounds remaining. And then look at this, we get another massive gold drop. It's like, okay, so there's a Lowy, and okay, it's too late to go for MF 3-star. I would have had to have stacked them up earlier. Too late for 3-star set. All right, there's another Jin. A lot of sets in my store. All right, I see the 2-star Jin. I was like, okay. Well, all right, I'm still not seeing any Kates. I do need to move some of my items around. And then I hit the Ezreal as well. So now's the time to stop and think about what we want here. Out of this, I was like, all right, I guess I'll take another tank item. And I do want to shift some of my items around because I did manage to hit a 2-star Alawi. And Alawi is pretty commonly seen as being the strongest tank in this particular set. So yeah, now I've 2-starred everything except the Lucian. I guess I don't have 2-star Lucian. I've 2-starred everything else on my board right now. So yeah, I'm pretty cranked right now in terms of my setup. Definitely pretty strong here. You can see I just easily, and I mean easily, blow up that board of the other player. And that was the other person who was win streaking. So anyway, I'm going to take my very small cash out, which is going to give me a belt. So I was like, oh, okay. Now, what I should have done is I actually forgot that I had a bow on the MF. I could have made a Gnasher's Tooth with that, and then I could have reforged the Gnasher's Tooth, which I don't need, into another item. But I did not end up doing that. I forgot I had the 3 item removers, so I think I just put the belt on one of my frontliners. Yeah, I just put my tank items on the thruster. But what I could have done is made that Gnasher's Tooth and then reforged it. Just not something I saw when I was playing. It's not something I really thought about. All right, so the lobby is down to just me and this other player. Unfortunately, we were going to be up against the person in 3rd place, but then they just quit the lobby. So now I'm going to roll, and again, I'm still looking for more Kates. I do hit the 2-star Lucian. So at this point, I'm like, all right, well, there's a Bard on my bench. I think I actually just go to level 9 here. Or, excuse me, to level 10 and play the Bard, because that's going to put the Jazz in. Now, this is going to cost me most of my econ. As you saw, I did have to sell one of the Kates to make that happen. But it's down to just me and one other player. And I really want to try to get this person out of the lobby. So there is rationale for why I want to do that. This person is on like 7 Akalis. And I need to get them out of the lobby before... they're actually on 8 Akalis. They have 8 out of 9 Akalis. I need to get them out of the lobby before they hit Akali 3-star. Because I beat their board very easily right now, but if they hit 3-star Akali, they probably beat me. So I want to try to get them out of the lobby quickly. And if I beat them in a very dominant fashion, I can probably get them out of the lobby in 2 rounds. So like they're on 35 HP. By the way, Jin doing a lot of damage here. And, okay, we're going to win the round, and we knock them down to 17. Okay, so I did 18 damage that round. So I just need to do another 18 damage. Now, is there an Akali on this carousel? No. That was what I had to look at. If there was an Akali on this carousel, that was a big problem, because they could have made 3-star Akali. There is not. so I can feel free to grab whatever I want. And I decided I would grab the Giant Slayer here because there are some high health targets. Yeah, there's a 3-star Nico on the enemy team, and whatchamacallit? A Warmogs and a Spirit Visage. So I really, really want to have the Giant Slayer. Now I'm going to move these items over to the Jin because Jin is now a 2-star 5 cost. And I'll put the bow on the MF. Now I'm still just looking for Kates. Can I find them? I do have 40% odds to see the 4-cost units. I don't see any more Kates. So, oh well. Again, I'm hoping to get them out of the lobby this round. They did not find the Akali this round. They have no gold to roll with. So can we do 17 damage and knock them out of the lobby right now? Note that I did put the Alawi tentacles in the back corners. That's because their Akali will dash to the back corners. This way their Akali, who is probably the strongest unit on their board, I believe she has a Radiant Hand of Justice, I think. Could be wrong, but I think that's the Radiant Hand of Justice. But anyway, she's going to waste her time dashing around and hitting the tentacles. And yeah, we win pretty easily. Jin does 12,000 damage, and that's a wrap. So we're going to win this one pretty easily. I only lost 2 rounds the entire game. One when I was transitioning my board, and then that round where I hit the Country 7 board, and I didn't quite have enough damage to get past the Hecarim's healing. But yeah, very, very easy game. Again, as I said, easy matchmaking because it was the first game of the set revival. But still, very, very fun. I mean, I got to play 12 units at the end of the game, so that was pretty ridiculous. And, like, what is this? Look at this. This is the new, that you get, like, experience from playing. But like, look at this. I can't even see most of the status screen. I can only see 8 of my units. I had 12 units. I can't even see them all. Why does the interface look like this? What a disaster. All right. Anyway, well, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Let's hope we can have some fun with the set revival. Until next time, take care, folks. I'll see you soon.